Welcome to another E30 episode. As I mentioned in the previous E30 video, the engine is going to get attached to the subframe and then the chassis of the car is going to get dropped down onto it. So we are safe today to start working on the front end of the car and see how much we can get done. I have some new parts that were painted, a bunch of zinc plated hardware that looks very good, some new hardware, some of the original stuff. It's a lot of little stuff, but I think together the front end really should start to come together. Today I'd like to get the fenders on, the valance on, the bumper shocks that hold the actual bumper on, headlights, grills, and a bunch of surrounding things to kind of really get a head start on what the car is gonna look like when it's complete. But first, I wanna show you guys why this car needed a new valance in the first place. If you guys can even see this 1999 printout, black and white, but the front of the car was damaged really insignificantly. This is a Japanese import, and what happens with Japanese cars or any imported car, if you get any damage and it needs to go through insurance, they're gonna write it off, and that's what happened here. As you can see, the hood was damaged, it was fixed, the grille was damaged and replaced, and also what this did is it dented the valance down a little bit, so the MTech 2 bumper never fit perfectly. There was about I'd say 5mm gap in it, which I don't think anyone really noticed except me when I started taking the car apart. So I got a new old stock valance for the car, got it paint matched to the car, and that's the first thing we're gonna try and install today. The time spent on this video is gonna be 95% of me just looking for what hardware goes to what part of the car, and then 5% just a little bit of filming there. First thing, gonna find I believe it's 8 retainers that go on the front of the car. These pieces, they hold on the valance and the headlights. I've got the valance mounted, the front section is all torqued down, the side of it mounts to the fenders, but they overlay this little section, so the valance has to go on first to get actual nice fitment. You'll notice on the fog lights, I didn't attach the bottom. They attach up these little tiny plastic plugs. A couple of them weren't looking too hot, they were cracked, so I'm just gonna get some new ones and then throw them in later. They're accessible from the back without a problem, so the valance can be on and I can just replace them at a later date once they come in. But I did want to see how the fog lights look just for line up with everything else. It helps visualize and make sure everything's straight. The next thing I'm going to do is grab the headlights. On this specific car, the rings around the headlights are not chrome, they are silver, and they're a little gross, so I'm going to pop those off, give them a fresh coat of silver paint, and then we'll install the headlights. headlight trims have 2 coats of paint. I'm gonna leave those overnight before I touch them just so they can get fully cured, but since we have this very nice paint booth set up, I wanted to grab these. These are the front bumper, I call them bumper struts, but they're the shocks for crashing. They also hold the actual MTech 2 bumper as well as the mount on the other one for the tow hook. So I'm gonna give these a fresh coat of paint. They really aren't that bad once you clean them up, but given what the rest of the car looks like, I think a fresh coat of flat black paint will do them some justice. While the headlight trims and the bumper shocks are drying, I'm going to clean up the headlights a little bit, throw some quick detailer on them, and then jump right into putting the fenders on the car. Once those are on, the trims should be dry. We'll put these together and finally get them on the car. did take some massaging, but the valance is on. It's always a little worrisome when you're using parts that aren't originally from the car just to see how they're gonna line up. This side gave me a little bit of trouble, but as you can see, it's perfectly flush. Exactly how it's supposed to be now. It's just a matter of adjusting things, but really happy with how that came out. Now the headlight rings, the trim pieces should be ready. Pop those on and I'll slide the headlights in. And we should really start to see what the front of this car is gonna look like. Not that we haven't before, but in its current condition. Of course, with the headlights, I grabbed some new headlight hardware. The headlight hardware is black anodized, which isn't the easiest to zinc plate. It's quite a complicated process to strip it. So I just got some new ones. And even with that, because it's behind the grille, you don't really want zinc plated hardware showing. It's best to have it black. That way it's hidden, you can't see it. It's not gonna catch any light when the sun is shining through the grille. This will look a little bit more nonchalant. I think it's starting to finally look like a car again, more specifically an E30. People used to come to the shop and they wouldn't actually know what model or brand of car this was, and I get it, the E30 silhouette's kind of just the classic cartoon drawing of a car. It's the front end that really gives it the look that we all know and love. So headlights are in, they need a little bit of adjustment, specifically this lens here, it's facing upwards, but I wanna get the grille in first. It attaches with these 4 pegs. They go on the top of the valance. You screw it in, and then it clips onto the top. At that point, I'll really be able to see where the headlights line up and make little adjustments. They adjust from the back, so you can do it literally anytime. In the grills, I previously ceramic coated them. What we don't want to do is double up on the ceramic coating. That's when they can start to look a little shiny, a little dressy. So all I'm going to do is clean them with some Armor Detail Supply Amplify. It's an SiO2 sealant, so it's not going to make them shiny, but it will clean them up real nice. We'll go with those on, and then talk about the bumper struts and the rest of the project on this car. So there's a little bit of a problem with the paint now on the car. So the front, the fenders, valance, hood, everything on the front end is going to be new paint, the new Diamond Schwartz metallic color. I say new because the car was repainted in Japan prior to importation, like most of them are, and it doesn't match. It's not the actual OEM spec version of that color. So I'm gonna get it painted, but it's not the goal this winter, spring, or summer. It's gonna happen in the fall over next winter, so that this summer I can just focus on getting the car running, driving, and functioning like a vehicle should. I think that's a pretty fair goal and a pretty fair timeline. So it will get painted next summer, but my problem is the bumper and the lip from the MTech 2 kit are that secondary gray from the Japan spec, and I need to get those painted because I don't want to put that old stuff on this new front end. So do I go ahead and get the whole MTech 2 kit painted, or do I let the front not match the rear, because we know when we paint that section, it's also not going to match the rest of the car. So I'm torn. I'm not exactly sure what to do. I may just have the whole MTech 2 kit painted now, use the old clips, plugs, and everything to attach it, and then when I get the car fully painted next fall, or this fall, then get new clips, new tabs, and really do it properly. But I'm still confused, not exactly sure what to do. My real focus now is just the engine, but I do need to think about the bumper and stuff, because now with this done, I will want to move on to the next steps in the exterior restoration of the car. that's gonna wrap up this episode on the E30. There's definitely a constant theme on YouTube of people doing full builds, full restorations in a single video, sometimes two. And I can't even begin to explain how unrealistic that is for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, both from an education standpoint and just a financial standpoint, that one probably being the bigger one that I don't think people talk about enough. But I'm very happy and grateful with the rate of speed on which I'm able to get this stuff done, both financially and education, because it's not that easy figuring out how to line up panels. I know it looks like I'm just bolting stuff together, but actually getting everything to be straight and where I want it is definitely a process. A lot of cross-referencing things online and asking people that have way more experience than I do. So at this point, everything that was damaged when the car was crashed has been replaced. So there's no demons hiding. Everything we know is new and it's all OEM, which I'm very happy about. I have a new old stock hood ready to get painted once the engine's done, and that era of the car will be gone, which is awesome. And I'm glad to do it in a way that didn't ruin the value of the car, not the financial value, but the historical value of it all being original. So next up, there's some stuff that's happening in the wheel wells. Again, some ducting, some Kevlar pieces I'm gonna try and make from scratch, or from molds, I guess, but molds we're gonna be making. Rear axle stuff, transmission stuff, engine stuff. Everything's basically ready to go now. I just need to get to work, film the videos on it. Of course, that's adding so much time, but it is well worth documenting the process for me. So I'm gonna hit record, stop this clip, and get working on the next project.